Hello everyone and welcome back to PAX and Recreation. And no playmat means is recreation time, and that normally means figures. And that's the case today. So I want to do a little bit of an intro before I go wow, right, with this. So in this channel, we opened a lot of Ichiban figures, and I always tell you guys how it's like, well, Ichiban is the, like when you buy the figures because they release them standalone, but these normally come from Ichiban Kuji, which is like a lottery format. And obviously that's a very Japanese thing. Some countries and some stores import them, and you can do that in your country of residence and whatnot. But because of knowing like different audiences and whatnot, Bandai Namco and Van Presto and all that stuff, they released the Ichiban Kujis as Ichiban, and they released the figures mostly. So if you look online for like some of the figures that we opened, Dragon Ball, etc., you will see that those figures were Ichiban Kujis and then they become Ichiban. What's the criteria for which figures are Ichiban and whatnot? Money, I guess. And they decide when they are released, and some are released as Ichiban, some are not. Like, for example, the Dragon Ball 40th anniversary Ichiban Kujis are not released as Ichiban as of yet. So it really depends, right? And some of them never go outside of Japan. So it's a complete lottery. A good choice of words, because I in my mind I always been like, man, if I ever see an Ichiban Kuji that I like it's gonna be Dragon Ball, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of stuff, because normally they come with a lot of minor stuff, and that minor stuff sometimes is very useless. Sometimes it's kind of cool. In some Ichiban some Ichiban Kujis, it's like plates and glasses and something like that. And in others is minifigures that of characters or moments, in this case, for example, the Dragon Ball, that you never saw a figure made of that. So that's actually pretty cool. In the majority of them is, like posters and whatnot. So it really fluctuates. However, one thing is important to note: when they release the Ichiban, so the retail version of the figures that come in the Ichiban Kujis, they never release the cool stuff. Like, they never release, if it comes with a portrait or with a hat or with a plushie or whatever that is not strictly a figure, they don't release it. This is the intro. So I always said I will make it for Dragon Ball, but this year I discovered, in 2025, I discovered Hunter, which was always in my to-do list, but I never committed to it. And I loved it so much that I actually made other people watch it, and I watched it twice in the same year, and then I read the manga, and now I am suffering like every other Hunter fan for Togashi's back. And I'm excited about the next batch, and it's about the experience. It's never gonna be finished, but it doesn't matter. So I saw this and I was like, well, you know what? Let's do it. So without further ado, I'm happy to say, I guess. My bank account is not happy, but I got an entire Ichiban Kuji with all the papers and all the stuff that you can dream. So this is the stuff that normally you get when you buy an Ichiban Kuji to display. It tells you what is the stock that you get. Like, everything comes in a big box, right? And check the contents. The contents is in checklist. It's like it comes with all of this amount of things. It has a display that this is the way that they want you to display the figures and the stuff that comes with it. Now, granted, each store does the best they can, and it comes with a assemblable pop-up thing that you use to catch the eye of people and get them excited. And it's all made of cardboard, and arrange the display ads and the products on the shelves. And I love it that it has a degree of English, because I know that a lot of stores import this stuff. Then preparing the Kuji tickets. How do you do it? And how do you put them and whatnot? And then the requests. So basically create a display ad, write down the store-specific ID for Kuji tickets on the Kuji ticket box, so that people know. ask customers to draw one Kuji ticket at a time, confirm the store-specific ID when exchanging from the tickets, which is, is a way of, is kind of more for you to be, you as a store owner, to be protected against people like bringing tickets from other stores and whatnot. And then you paste the output of the ticket in the poster so that people know how many tickets have been sold and whatnot. So this is a Hunter Chimera Ant 2. If there was a one, I never saw it in my life, but it is what it is. And this is the poster that you will see, and it has all the things. So you can see it's Hunter Chimera Ant 2, and this is the last one figure. The last one is one of the best things they ever come up with, which is, well, sometimes out of luck, a lot of these figures will actually be granted by the luck gods, by the gods of luck, and then there is no more reason for people to buy Ichiban tickets, except, if they add a last one, which is the one that they give you when the last ticket is sold, inciting people to just buy all the remaining tickets, because normally the last one is a big figure or a rare figure or something crazy, right? And this is the poster that you will see normally in your store that has all the things that come in the Ichiban Kuji, and you paste the stuff in here, and you know how many tickets are left, and etc., etc. Now, obviously, depending on the letter, you get one thing or another, right? So for I, you get mobile keychain things and neck straps. So thanks for playing kind of things. For H, you get either a notepad or a poster. Now, depending on the Ichiban Kuji, and most importantly, a lot depending on the store, when you get a specific letter like this or this one, some stores let you pick which you want, some don't. Some just give you one random to add insult to injury. And then the interesting stuff, it starts appearing, in my opinion, from G onwards. Now, if you never saw an Ichiban Kuji in your life, it depends. Sometimes the figures are only in A, B, C, D, for example, and then the rest is just stuff. And sometimes you have figures all the way until I or L or M. There is a Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji that is like a lot of minifigures, and it goes all the way, and you have all the options. Now, at G, we have coasters and things that I don't know exactly what they are. I think they're like necklaces or something, minifigures. And then the fun starts. You get like the actual Ichibansho territory. You get masterlized figures. In this case, for Yuppie and Puff. Then for Neferpito. And then for Killua, Gon, Netero, and Meruem. And the last one is Adult Gun or Buff Gun or whatever you want to call it. So why did I buy this thing? Well, you can imagine well, actually don't imagine, but there is the way they design this is actually very good for people that like me that collect stuff. And why? Because, well, this is kind of one that you can, if you buy one of these figures, these figures work individually. They are getting into the art of all the figures kind of matching each other. So like this Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji that I'm telling you is all small figures. Yes, one of those small figures works standalone, but kind of you want to buy the whole thing because you want all the figures to build the whole Dragon Ball thing, right? So here is more or less that. Like, you don't need them all to make a display or anything because they are not even in the same moment in the Chimera Ant saga. But if you're gonna let it to the luck, to the gods of luck, it's not a safe Ichiban Kuji to leave to the lucks of God, because to the gods of luck, because, well, normally figures have like at least more than one ticket, so you can kind of keep visiting the store and be like, oh, there is only one remaining, and then if you wanna like buy the whole thing, well, it gets cheaper. Sadly, here, if you do that, you will be risking a lot because you get only one of each, because yes, it's 2 tickets, but it's like one figure. You get one Neferpito, one Netero, and then yes, 2, 2, and 2, but and then only obviously one adult gun. So this is the whole list of things, and we will be kind of seeing them all one by one. I am not going to assemble the pop-up. I just want to show you a little bit of the things that come. The store asked me if I wanted this stuff, and I was like, yeah, sure. It's not every day that you buy one of these things, so why not? And it's part of the memories, right? And look at that figure. Obviously, I'm gonna be honest with you, the last one is kind of what pushed me over, because I was like, man, there's a lot of cool figures in there. See, and this is the pop-up thing that you're supposed to assemble. A lot of stickers, sort of like mini boxes of like the last one for you to make a box to add the tickets for the lottery and whatnot. So a lot of things. Now, is there a lot of use for this? Well, not really. Besides, the memories, or maybe you want to use them as posters. The cardboard stand, I guess you could put it somewhere in your house. It wouldn't be the worst thing. It wouldn't be the best thing. Certainly, it's not the reason why you buy the whole thing, but at this point, it is what it is. So we have that. And these are the tickets. So if you never saw one, these are the tickets. They come in a sheet, and they are supposed to pop them all out and put them in a box, and people are supposed to grab one and then rip it and see what they get, right? So kind of cool. And now, let's see some of the stuff that we have here. I've been biting myself to not open a lot of this because I was like, let's do it in a video. So this is letter I. As you can see, it comes in a bunch of boxes. It's kind of a mess. So I don't know if I'm gonna open this to a degree. Maybe I will use it as I will gift it to my friends and whatnot. But it's interesting. This is the type of thing that you pay what, like $15 per ticket. Depends on the store, right? Sometimes it's 15, sometimes 14, sometimes 12, sometimes it's more. It depends on the store. Depends on how hot is that lottery. But this is more of a consolation prize to a degree. It's like, well, you get a thing for your phone, right? You get this one that says gone. There is 2 of them, and it's cool because there's kind of a logic to it. Killua. Now, by the way, don't get scared if you see some of the ways that the names are written. If you are into Hunter x Hunter, which I am since this year, you know that the way the names are written is all over the place. For example, Neferpito is written Nefelpito, which, that's a thing. So some of these as well, they kind of come in order, which is interesting. Meruem, which is normally written Meruem, is apparently Melim, which, with the shogi play pieces, that's not bad. One for Netero with the 1,000 palms and whatnot, which is kind of cool as well. Now, mind you, some stores let you pick which one of these would you get if you draw like an I ticket. Some of them just give you one at random. One for Zeno and Dragon Divo, which is actually cool. As you can see, if you are really into something like me with Hunter x Hunter, even the small things is like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, okay, you don't buy it because of this, but you're getting a lot of this. So, at least you get some use of it. Now, those fit into the category of stuff, which is like, well, it's cool, but we're not going to use it. At least not a lot. Like the neck straps, this is a sticker. This to me is more useful than the others, but this is still I. So a sticker, Killua and gone. You get another one and another one. So you get 3. And then you get one for Neferpito or Nefelpito with I forgot the name of her ability. Yep, I totally forgot. Serendish is from the new arc. Is something. Please correct me. But you get 3 of these as well, still in the letter I. And then you get, this is kind of hits hard, I'm gonna lie, a sticker with Meruem and damn, I don't know what's happening with me today, but the names are certainly not coming to me. So it's Meruem, this is Shogi, and she's called Komugi. Damn, I was having a blank there. So you get this, and then the last one, which is a bunch of adult gun. So a lot of people. Oh, wait, fun fact, some people say gun, some people say gun. I guess it's pick your poison. So as you can see, I mean, if you buy the whole thing, you could argue this is a lot of whatever. What a lot of stores do when they, they are like, well, and they sell it for parts, they just give this to people with purchases or whatnot. Because, yeah, some people may buy this voluntarily, but I don't think it's like a thing. Now, for the letter H, we have a lot, and this all smells. If you follow this channel, you know that when we open Japanese cars, we say that they smell. This stuff smells similarly, so it comes from the same factory. We get a lot of folders, and believe it or not, Komugi there, the name is there. This is for letter H, and the visual design for this is kind of all over the place, which is good in my opinion. Actually, let me pull the camera up a little bit. We're gonna need it for the figures, trust me. So we get this one. This one is kind of cool. Is Neferpito and Netero in the whole dragon dive moment. Look at those faces. Like visually, the style is all over the place, and then the back is kind of like I don't like the placement because it's kind of like a PNG, but it's kind of cool. Is Netero doing the 1,000-pound Buddha to Meruem? Actually, you can see Meruem's tail here. So I feel like the folders, normally I am not a fan of these folders at all, but I feel like these ones slap a little bit, even more if you like Hunter Hunter, which I think is the whole thing, right? If you're going to just put me like normal PNGs here, I don't want it, but you have special treatments here, like adult gun in here, and then Neferpito getting ready to attack as well. So another cool one. Then more on the cutesy side, you have Poof versus this guy, the one that smokes, which I believe that I'm having like damn, I will remember, don't worry. Which I believe that if there was a Chimera Ant 1 Ichiban Kuji, likely it had some of the other characters in here. So fun fact, like Onigoko is like the names are also like kind of all over the place. You have some screenshots or some things from the anime, but they don't abuse it, which is cool. Like you have some better treatments like this. Merel? Meru? No, Meru. It's not Meruem. Anyway, I know it wasn't crazy. Morel, right? So Morel with Poof, and then versus Chitu here as well. So kind of cool too. Again, like experience may change. Like Meruem, this is like a very specific one. I kind of like it a little bit. This Meruem disabling completely Knuckle, which is like a very, very specific thing to put in anything, but I like it. And on the other side, you got Knuckle and Melioron versus Yuppie. So another, again, like they balance it. Like on one side is like a screenshot from the anime or something, and on the other, something more of a custom one, which is cool. This one has Killua going Godspeed, or Sonic the Hedgehog mode, as the real ones call it. Again, like a chibi sort of illustration. And the gang here, when they do the go moment, and like amazing moment. I can already hear like the legendary martial artist in my head, the music, the one that goes when they are doing this whole thing. Like, I mean, the manga is peak, but the anime they did it correct, my guy. They did it correct. So, and then this one may be the one that hits the hardest. And sadly, I'm not talking about Adult Gun. Is Meruem and Komugi in the last moment. Look at that. And on the other side, well, they're actually playing normal shogi. Now, you may be thinking, like, well, why don't you open them? It's like, well, I don't want to open them all. I mean, otherwise this video is going to be endless. But for you to have an idea, basically you have these, and then it's like you get 2 folders, right? Which is not bad. I mean, you get 2. Now, how they handle, they smell like dreams because they do that in Japan. So, you know, for example, this one is like this, very cool. And this one is actually cool, the fact that, you know, they are separated, which is lovely. So this level of small things is what makes this great, right? This is what makes it cool as hell. So, again, type of thing that personally I wouldn't go out of the way to buy this myself, but since it's included in my crazy purchase, I may use them a lot. And actually, they look cool, which is something that I appreciate. If they were just PNGs, I would go mad. So, continuing with this, on the letter H, we also have notepads, and the notepads are kind of cool as well. You will hear me say kind of cool or cool a lot, and I won't apologize. Basically, you get all sorts of notepads. So mind you pull an H, and obviously the higher the letter, the better the reward, to a degree, right? Even though with the figures is subjective, but the straps and whatnot is cool, you get to choose between folders or notepads. I guess, you know, depends on the type of person that you are. But for example, this one is pretty cool or horrible, depending on how you want to look at it. Basically, is a block of notes, of paper to make notes, and then you have this cardboard stand-up, which is basically the diagram of when I'm so bad with names today. When, you know, the whole Tang situation when he's trying to escape. Now, which I am not ashamed to admit, I am checking it on the side because I remember Icalgo, and it's like not that many characters. If you see the new arc in the boat, I think it has some sort of record for the biggest amount of characters introduced in a manga arc. But yeah, and the paper itself is either great or horrible, depending on how clear you like your paper, because it's the whole drawing of Icalgo trying to escape, which is lovely. So you get 2 of these. You get 2 of the go moment, which is basically just, you know, it's just blocks of paper, but it says go, which is cool. And it actually has some sort of drawing in there. So, Epa. So they separate for reasons overknowns to me. I guess there is some usage for this, but I guess it's for you to put like the notes horizontally. I know it looks cool. I am not the biggest stationary person, but that's interesting. The one with the Icalgo, because I mean, since might as well, right? When it's like kitchens and whatnot, there is no science to it, but this is interesting. This is exactly what I was saying, right? It's like, this is a block of paper with like the Icalgo escape route or the plan. And then this is, how do you actually put this? Well, I guess you will pop it out. Yeah. You pop it out and you have them like there, I guess. And yeah, I guess you'll pop it. It works, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. And last but not least, a kind of simple but effective notepad with the shirt pattern from Netero saying heart on it, which is cool. Oh, well, actually, it's like 2 and 2. You also have one for Palm Siberia, which is pretty cool as well. So I guess, it will be my first choice, this one, but Now continuing, that was H, right? So now we have to go up and get into G territory, where the real ones are. And G is all over the place. It's a lot of things for something that, for such a lower tier. So in G, you can get all these sorts of things. Is not very clear what we're trying to achieve. These are the shogi chips, if you want to call them like that, or pieces. So you get 2 and 2, right? Now, what they are exactly, well, I guess they are a coaster, but it's not super duper obvious to me. It's more of a, it's kind of like a roller coaster thingy. Like you could use it as a coaster, I guess, but or to put things on it. I don't know. It's cool. It's lovely. This is the type of thing that you have the two of them, or just one, and people will go like, haha, if they know. That's my favorite type of geek stuff, the one that is not entirely obvious. I do the same for like clothing and whatnot. Now, these are just coasters with Killua the Hedgehog and with Icalgo and with Melioron. Right? So not bad. Cool. Kind of very colorful and all over the place, but I like them. Now, following the 2 more with Palm Siberia. Now into the, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at territory. We have these ones. So you have 2 and 2. 2 for Netero doing the 1,000 Palm Buddha, and 2 for Yuppie, or Montutu Yuppie, as is written there. Now, what is this? Well, this is actually not very clear to me, if you want me to be honest. It feels like some sort of coaster, but I think it's like a necklace, or at least the end of a necklace, I think, or something that can be used as a necklace. I think. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, if we had a Japanese expert in the room. I love it that they come like ultra packaged, so like it doesn't. For a thing that is not even on display most of the time, they even take the time to like tape it so it doesn't move around, so that you get the whole experience and whatnot. This is the thing that, that's why people love this sort of thing. It's like, yes, this costs them like cents to produce and they charge you $15 for it, but I mean, it's random. But still, even the figures, like even the most expensive figure is like, it costs them bucks to do. But see, this is the thing that I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's a bracelet. Oh, it's a bracelet. Okay. Or something. I don't think, not for me, obviously. Maybe for now is when someone corrects me and says, well, actually, this is for a glass or something. You put a glass in here or something, and you have the rubber thing to hold the glass so that you don't get your hands wet or something. I don't know. It's obviously beyond my understanding, but it's pretty cool. I'm an easy person to please, as you can say. It's not coping, because I didn't buy it specifically for these things. You have to understand that all these things are like nice to haves in my head. It's like, oh, this is cool, but I didn't buy it because of that. To a degree, I don't care for all of this. It's just cool extras. And then in the G tier, we're still in G, mind you. What I believe is the best one of the things, which is the minifigures. We get 2 for Komugi and 2 for Neferpito. So, how do they look? Well, let's say the best ones, because this is a lottery for, figures. And these are minifigures, so I guess these are the closest that you get to your original goal, I guess. See? So, I guess it's the better output, if You don't get... Ooh, okay. Well, the Neferpito figure is nice. You know, this is something that we also have to comment here a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's a minor thing. It's cheap. Whatever. But it's cool. It's well done. It's not like when you buy a knockoff, the colors are off and whatnot. Even the kneecaps, the famous Neferpito kneecaps, are there and perfectly sculpted. So I guess that's good. Now, this thing, I thought it was the base, and it is the base, but it feels like it's going to be more of... I mean, does this hold on its own? Yes. So it holds as a figure, so you can have it as is. Kind of difficult, but not impossible. See, there you go. But I guess this, looking at the display, as we are hunting for a dream, she's supposed to be sitting there. It says here, I love that the cardboard thing is the same for all, so the instructions are literally for this. So I guess she goes like this. Watch a grown man breaking somewhat expensive toys. Okay. And okay, that's cool. She's like, you're gonna spin it, I guess? Yeah, you can, which is cool. But yeah, she holds a lot better like this, which is weird, to be honest. I was expecting her to like tumble a little bit, but I guess she's balanced, as all things should be. Cool. Weird choice, but you know, cool. If you don't want the robbery thing, you can just have Neferpito like sitting, and it works. And Komugi has the same thing, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, same format. She's just square instead of round. And I guess, well, Komugi wouldn't be impossible to have. The one thing that is wrong with Komugi is that she doesn't have a snot, a very pronounced snot running down her nose. So, you know, which I understand why her design is like that, but I always was like, listen, I understand that you're blind, and that's the whole point, that she doesn't care. She only cares about one thing. But it's like, at least clean it a little bit with your arm or something. I don't know. But yeah, same logic. She stands on her own if you don't want the whole shebang, but we need to. And I feel this one adds more flavor than this one. This one actually looks like it's backwards to a degree, but you know, it's cool. It's basically Neferpito's aura, or sorry, Nen. So you have the whole thing there. So that makes sense. In the case of Komugi, it's not that difficult to put in there. Like once you get the hang of it, it's just like literally just spinning her a little bit. And it's a very interesting mini figure. It's cool. And she's like kind of floating there, and you can do this, I guess, if you're into Beyblades. So not bad. And a nice transition from G to F, because it's on F, my dear friends, that the party started. So this is where, if you are that person, you can put in the comments, this is when the actual unboxing begins. Because now we have the F figure. So I'm not going to open all the figures. Like, for example, I have 2 Meruems, I have 2 Kiluas, 2 Gons, and I'm going to open the 2 of them. However, with these ones, and this is one I understood that it's like, man, it sucks. I thought that maybe it come like the 2 of them come in a box or something, but apparently no or yes. I don't know, it's not clear to me. So we're gonna open one and figure it out. But I think, well, maybe the 2 of them come in a box. It really feels to me like it's 1 and 1, and it's kind of random if you get one or the other. Oh, it's not even. Oh, they are digi-evolving. They are not even using tape here. That's crazy. Why does it have that thing? Okay. The number of authenticity there, which is important. Well, authenticity of like factory process. Yes, as expected, it's 1 and 1. So, as expected, but kind of a douchebag move again. It kind of, it doesn't force you into anything because you don't need all the figures again. But like these 2, I feel like these 2 in particular, you kind of want them together, or maybe not. I mean, but If not, it doesn't feel like, yeah, you know. So this is a Masterlize figure after all, and Masterlize, I will argue, is Bandai or Banpresto's or Bandai Namco's best line of figures, at least within, you know, reasonable price ranges. So this is, and we will see it spinning later, but this is Poof or one of the mini Poofs, depending on which moment. But we can assume that if we have mini Yuppie, this is the mini Poof. Can you imagine that it was like this? Like, well, I'm assuming it has to be like this. This is the one thing I never like about these figures. When it's not immediately obvious how it goes. Because it can't be like this, can it? And they never display it with the base in the box, which I feel like a lot of times with these figures is either 8 or 80, in the sense that it's like either they show it to you like even the back of the figure and everything, that is like, well, thank you, I didn't ask for that, but okay. Or yeah, it has to be the other way. It doesn't make sense this way. Or they don't show you the base of the figure or whatever they use to hold it in place. I remember, for example, there's a Naruto figure that we opened in this channel that there was no promotional image in the box or anything that showcased that he had a brown thing or red thing, I don't remember, holding him from his buttocks, which doesn't look very good because Naruto is even kind of crouching there, so it wasn't. And here's the, again, this is not like rocket science. I'm just complaining for the sake of it to a degree, but you know. So if this is Poof or Poofo as they call him, then in here has to be the other. And as you can see, it's completely random. So if even in the store, if they want to give you one, they can't. You kind of need to you get one randomly, period. Now, if this was a card video, I will be saying, don't do this, buy the singles. The equivalent of what I did was to buy the complete set, which is also a very expensive way of collecting cards in Magic the Gathering. But sadly, the singles are not released yet. With these figures, if you want the singles, you have to wait for them to be released as Ichiban. And the sad thing is that, for example, these two wouldn't be released a lot of times as Ichiban because they are kind of small, or they will be put together in the same box or something like that. So that's kind of the fun or weird thing about the Ichiban / Ichiban Kuji comparison. Now, same thing here for well, he actually kind of makes sense like this, to be honest, but whatever. For Yuppie, I love it that Togashi came up with like the craziest names for them, like Neferpito, Shayapoof, Anteto Yuppie, and then both him and the anime crew were like, nah, it's just Yuppie, nah, it's just Poof. Like, why do they have to make these things so difficult? Like, you can tell, even from a camera perspective, you can tell that this thing is way too thick for that. It's not even fun. And the angle in which this thing has to go in is not fun either. Now, if this base, all about the base, like this obviously is not the case because he doesn't stand. So obviously there's only one way. I don't know why it has to go like this. But again, the angle is weird. The hole is small. There you go. Feels kind of wrong, but okay. And here you go. You will see it spinning. And well, here you have the two bad boys. And that will be, I love that they both have like faces of joy. So you can have them right next to the Meruem figure, which again kind of puts you in a position where you kind of have to get them all. So next is their sister. For the letter E, there's only one, Neferpitou. And I love it that they don't even try to put the name in English anymore. Here they put it in the straps and I think. And one thing that I love, by the way, that you will realize is that these figures are like half and half. The ones that are related to ants have the ant symbol. The ones that are from the hunter side have the hunter symbol, hunter association symbol. Minor things, but appreciated in terms of flavor. Now, again, I haven't checked the Chimera Ant 1, but I assume that in Chimera Ant 1 you have Knuckles, Shoot, Morel, Nov, and some of the ants, I guess. I don't remember the name of the first one that starts talking, but something along those lines. Because a lot of the important players are here, so I guess the other half of the important players need to be here. By the way, you will see the figures spinning in better detail, and I will move the camera at the end so that we can see them from the front, because obviously this is a bird's view, so not the best. One thing that is interesting that sometimes is maintained in the Ichiban figures is that the letter of what figure you're getting is in the plastic of the figure. So in this case, Miss Neferpitou, which that's an interesting topic, by the way. Like, we can say Miss Neferpitou, I guess, and she or it, because it's an ant, and in English there is a difference between animals and humans when it comes to pronouns, and it is it has feminine features, so a lot of people do draw weird stuff about Neferpitou, but technically it is an ant, and technically, well, some other ants, like the one that is like a scorpion that has a bikini for some reason, are also kind of looking female, but one does have to wonder, like, there's only one queen, so technically they don't. I don't know, I'm thinking too much about this. So the Neferpitou figure is cool because it's a weird pose. Like some of the figures that I've seen of Neferpitou, which are not too many, are always of Neferpitou like jumping or crouching or something. This is an interesting pose, an interesting moment. Very nice looking figure. I wasn't expecting anything less from Master Lice, to be honest. Good detail. Weird spot to put the seal, like, and they scatter the seal instead of doing the normal block. But the legs are on point. The knee joints are there. The face, the most important point, is also there. Like that, the look of like a psychopathic cat, which is basically Neferpitou, is great. This is more of like, if I recall correctly, this is like when fighting Gon, if I recall correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm assuming that in Chimera Ant 1 there is Kaito as well. I will need to look, which I may do. I will do a pause and check. She stands on her own. Again, I will move the camera at the end, don't worry. She stands on her own, so thankfully you don't need the piece of plastic, but if you needed it, it will go in any leg, really. Normally they favor the back leg because it's less noticeable, but okay. She falls with the back with the extra support, but there she is. Again, you will see her better. Don't worry. She stands better without this than she stands with this, which is lovely. You will see them all next to each other at the end. Don't worry. So Neferpitou is E, so that brings us to the next letter, which is D, which is Killua. We have two Killuas in this pack, and it's Killua in Godspeed mode, or Super Saiyan mode, or Sonic the Hedgehog mode, or whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, you don't have like the normal English text that you normally have for some things, saying like, oh, it contains one figure of whatever. Like this is direct Japanese stuff, like Bandai Spirits. Nothing extraordinary here. Now, one thing that is interesting is that even though it all came in a pack, in a big box of imported goods, they all have a sticker with the kind of translation of this in like English, Italian, Spanish, like, and it applies to A, B, C, D, E, and last one. So interesting how these things work. Like they know it's for exporting, but it's not like some of the other figures that we open that you can see in the back that is like for Latin America only, or like for Europe only, or for Middle East only. This is like obviously for Japan, but they put a sticker there and just call it a day. Okay, so I just check out of curiosity the Chimera Ant 1, which I don't know where it was released because it depends. Like they release it at one point in Japan, sometimes they export, sometimes they don't. I don't know. And it's more or less what I expected. You have Gon, you have Killua. We can put the image on the screen. We have Gon, we have Killua, you have Kaito, or Kite. And so this is basically like two different moments in the Chimera Ant arc. So I guess the one is like the beginning, obviously, and buying time and whatnot. And this part is like the end, so Netero and all that. But it's basically Gon is A, Killua is B, which is interesting that they shifted here, but then Kaito is C. And then you have Knuckle and Shoot as D and E respectively. And then you actually have kind of very cool things for the other letters. For the letter F, instead of doing this, which is only one of each in the entire Ichiban thing, it's basically the half faces of Morel and Nov coming out of like Nov's portals and the smoke soldiers from Morel, which is actually pretty freaking cool. Sometimes the smaller value items are the cooler things because it's weirder things. It's not just a figure of Gon, a figure of Son Goku, that type of thing. And weirdly, the last one for that one was a figure of Neferpito going all, I'm going to play with Kaito, I guess. So interesting. With that out of the way, Killua time. Let's see what's in store for us here with Killua the Hedgehog. Man, the Chimera Ant arc is such a good arc, and I watched it twice this year, mind you, the whole series twice. And yes, I watched the 90s version as well, and I read the manga from the beginning because there is a lot of differences. Like the version that from, I think, is Bones the studio that animated this? I think, I don't recall, but like the anime adaptation from 2011 is pretty good. I will say though that the few times I tried to start watching it, I wasn't too much into it because it looked to me too much like we want to be like One Piece. It started with the whole like monsters and like, oh, fame and glory, and I was like, is this trying to be One Piece? Like, I know that One Piece didn't invent the wheel, right? But I was like, and it feels like they tried, and then midway they dropped that, and they dropped some other things, and they kind of embraced their own identity, which thankfully. But at the beginning, it was kind of, oh, it has a good base. This is crazy for a Masterlight figure, because normally they have those chunks of plastic. Ironically, it has come to my attention that a lot of people hate this type of base. They just want the chunks of plastic because they occupy less space. But basically, a very good transparent base that has, well, it was needed, I guess, to display the electricity from Godspeed. Protection for my boy here. And Killua in a weird position, but again, this makes the figure lovelier. It's interesting because if you compare both from the and one Ichiban Kujis, if you compare Gon and Killua, they're basically just standing up like with their clothes. It's like the first time when they go with Kite, right? Or with Kaito, depending on how you want to say. And they're just like in badass poses and whatnot. And here it's like Killua is like all powered up. This is like a power up that he develops, and it's pretty cool. But Gon is not in a power up. Gon is just pissed sitting, which is a very emblematic scene. But I guess his power up is the last one. But regardless, so Very nice figure with all it is. You don't have to assemble these, which is interesting because normally in a prize figure you will need to assemble these. I like the pose. The pose is very well sculpted because Killua, when Killua enters this mode, ironically, even though he's electrified and very tense, like his hair and whatnot, he's kind of more fluid physically. Like you can see by the pose, right? He's more like about to like go boxing or something because he needs to be quick on his feet, right? So overall, very cool. Again, I will show it to you in better detail when we spin it. You will see the spinning, and also you will see you will see it from the front in a while. But basically, very cool looking Killua. No doubts. So one there. Now we're going into letter C, which is a very pissed gun. As you can see, the letter, normally the letter is kind of associated with premium. So like letter A is like the coolest figure, right? And letter E is the less cool, but it's really not that. Like the chances are kind of the same. Like actually, mathematically speaking, you have more chances of pulling this gun or that Killua than you have of pulling Neferpitou, because there is only one Neferpitou in the whole thing. The same way with Netero, which is B, right? And Meruem is A. So technically, you have more chances of pulling the lesser letters or even the higher letters. It really doesn't matter. I guess they just qualify them depending on the cool factor. And it's like, well, obviously Gon is cooler than Killua, according to them, so they put them higher. And it's not because of the size either. Like Gon's figure, as you can see, is the smallest of all of them. If you want to argue, technically Killua's is the one that has more plastic and therefore the most expensive. So if you really want to argue, Gon doesn't even need a base. So technically it's the superior figure. But it's interesting because if you give me a choice, you know, instead of buying everything like a crazy maniac, I will likely, you know, of the ones that we opened so far, I will likely go with this gun because everyone that has watched Hunter x Hunter or read Hunter x Hunter knows this pose and knows this moment. This is as emblematic as it can get. Like this is just great. Like if this figure was standalone, it will sell like pancakes because you can have it in your desktop looking at you, or you can have it anywhere. It's just cool, and it's a very emblematic moment. So I'm gonna have it here again. I will show them from the front. Now we're going to letter B, and letter B is for Isaac Netero. So same logic, same principle, right? So it's the same, in this case, Hunter Association, because that's what we have as we are hunting for a dream here. And let's see what we get. And obviously this is like the drama. Like you see that the two Chimera Ant Ichiban Kuji, and technically this is the last one because I mean it has Meruem, it has all the things from the end of the arc, but it has so many characters and so much stuff that technically you can do as many as you want, and a lot of those characters people will be like, ah, that's cool. Now I guess they have their experts and they do the polls in Japan or whatnot, so they know which characters are more popular. But you know, only one figure of Netero and one figure of Neferpitou. I mean, they know what they're doing. They want you to just buy the whole thing, I guess. Or just go berserk and buy as many as possible. So the plate, again, this one has a base similar to a prize figure, but it's mostly because Netero needs to have it because he's floating there, doing the hard. If you really want to push me, he doesn't need the base. They could do something and have it stand on his foot, but whatever. Netero looks pretty freaking cool. Obviously, again, you can do as many characters as you want. Like there is the only ants here are, you know, the royal guard and and all that. And Neferpito appears here and appears in the minifigure, and it was the last one for the previous Ichiban Kuji. So like, yeah, Neferpito is a fan favorite for sure, but for the wrong reasons. But if you ask me, like point blank, what will be the last one for like this? I will be like, well, I guess it will be the thousand hand Buddha, right, or something like that. So no, they went with the safe choice, which is Gon, adult Gon, but still. So Netero looks pretty cool. I love the pose. I love the whole. Look at those eyes. He knew what he knew what the mission was. The whole like Netero as a character is also pretty cool because he's not a good person by any means. Like even if you look at his flashback, the one that gives the name to the song, the legendary martial artist. Now this thing doesn't go in all the way, which okay. He kind of trained and did the thing just to do it, just to be rude. Like just because it was a challenge, he wanted to do the thing, and then he wanted more challenges and more things and whatnot. Like he objectively just wanted a challenge. It was not about doing things for the good or bad. It was just to improve himself. And then he got bored to a degree because no one was up to him. And then he just wanted to fight the ant. But when he saw that he couldn't win, he was there with a mission. Like, it's such a good writing for the character. Like, normally he will be like a wise master or something, but he's like, no, there is not such thing. Like, he just wants a challenge. He doesn't care, my friend. Now, I was about to say last but not least, but actually we have the last one yet. Let me just move Netero and Gon and well, kill a little bit to the side. And Meruem, right? So Meruem is letter A. Kind of the same drill, the expected thing, the usual shebang, and he's kind of done in a way that you can put him together with Yuppie and Poof. For some reason, like their names float in my head, but like you can put them together with the two of them and it works. Not with Pito though, because at this point they are not together and the poses don't match. Like, the only way that you can have the three of them together would be if they are bowing to him or something. A lot of plastic for the king of the ants, or Super Perfect Cell, as the real ones know him. So, what a great design! But it's impossible not to look at him and think of Cell. It's Dragon Ball's reach is what it is. Yep, it's a 2-floor figure or 2-floor box. That doesn't want to cooperate by having tape in the workplace as possible. There you go. His tail, his very dangerous tail, and the bass. All about the bass. Bass, not treble. Now, Meruem, which you will see spinning while we do this, likely, but very cool looking. And the pose, I can't remember, and this is for the tail, I'm assuming. I can't remember exactly when he does that pose. I guess I don't know, because that pose is not like super emblematic, or maybe it is. I'm just old. I don't know. But I can't remember exactly when he does that. Now, does he hold with the tail? I don't think so. Exactly. Now, does he hold without this, which is kind of opaque, which is interesting? Yes, I believe that if you put the tail holder, he holds by, just with that. Again, thankfully, ironically, all the figures in this set kind of hold without the foot holders that are horrible, or they have like a clear base, which is normally what I've been asking for these figures. Again, a lot of people don't like them because they occupy a lot of space, and a lot of people just have all the figures like crammed up in a display case or something. If you have, I guess you can do one or the other. Like it apparently it holds up with the thing or with the thing. You can put both, which I guess is the ideal approach, and that will be it. I will display him with both things so that you can have a visual idea of the damage that this thing does visually to him. But you can go with this, or you can just have this and ignore this, I guess. Really up to you. But Meruem is kind of cool. Very well done, very on point. It's just the king of the world. And the king of the world. So not bad. Very good looking. Full of detail. If you really want to, maybe it should have a figure of Komugi somewhere, but we have the small one, so I guess that should work. And now, I didn't even show you the box. Mostly because it doesn't fit in frame. I will pull the box and show you. This is the last one, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit horizontally even. This thing is a beast. If I pull this, I'm gonna move the camera up.
I don't know when the camera doesn't want to cooperate. If I pull it like this high,
that seems reasonable. It kind of fits inside, mostly because it occupies the whole thing. These are my hands. I have big hands, by the way. Like, look at this. When I saw this, I was like, nah, we're totally buying this shit. Like, we're totally buying this. So, Masterlize Extra. They know it's too big. Hunter. Gun something version. I don't know I don't know what name is here. It says something ver. I guess it's Gone adult version or master version. I could point with the translate app, but it's funnier if you just correct me. So we call him adult Gone, chat Gone, OP Gone. This is a side, by the way. We know what we're in for. And this is the other side. The profile of the box. Interesting. Just, all the boxes had that theme of like either an ant or hunter association, right? But the gun figure doesn't have anything like that. The gun figure says, nah, we're going with the silhouette because, that's it is what it is. And the back shows you that this figure requires instructions. So bear in mind, this will be, the end of the video will be messy for sure. It comes with a lot of pieces. Now, I am as excited, just by looking at this, I am as excited as I am disappointed. So I have the minifigure of Adult Gun, whose hair is also a pen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you for a second. Obviously, they are different themes, but this is also a Bandai figure. So as you can see, the joke is that, well, the hair is too long and whatnot. But two things. One, it uses a smoke to hold the figure. And this smoke, you can remove it if you want for some cosmic reason. It doesn't hold up without it. But the smoke is what I hope all figures did. A lot of figures, Super Saiyans, ninjas, etc., they kind of count with, they always have a smoke or something around them. Give me bases like this that are smoke or dirt or rocks or whatever. If you don't want to give me a clear plate of plastic, like these ones, okay, don't do it. But instead of giving me the leg chunks, these things, just give me bases like this. Why am I mentioning this? Because I'm sure I'm gonna love this figure, and you can tell just by the pictures. I mean, this is a cheap figure. It's cool and all, but the detail is what it is. And this is official, mind you. Now, the hair has a trick that is kind of convoluted, but it's cool at the same time. The hair is a pen. You have to do like this, and it separates. It's like, okay, that's cool, right? And it separates here, and it's a pen. Why? Because why not? Now, I always had a distaste for the fact that you have to separate it in two parts. Like, it would be better if you like unplug it, and this was the point of the pen instead of having to do this and this. It's like, I don't understand why that design choice. Maybe to avoid the ink running down. I don't know. But why I wanted to show this, not only to display the figure, which I think is as fun as it is cool, because it's cheap. It's the cheap alternative. It's cool, but also because the very expensive Masterlice Ichiban Kuji one has 7 million instructions for a base that is going to hold the figure in place, even on the hair, which, we will figure out. But interestingly, it says that you need to remove the back, because I guess some people glue them to the ground or something, so you may not need the base, but the base has four legs to actually keep it, because the figure, I guess, is going to be so tall that, because of the hair, that it needs some sort of balance. And then it needs a support that goes into the back, so you need to remove the back, and encloses the head. So you need to enclose the head. I am worried of how cool this is going to look with if Adult Gun needs to have a back support, like he's gone paraplegic, but okay. Let's check it nonetheless. Mind you, this part of the video may be very messy. I'm trying my best. So with the setup that we have, I mean, what I'm doing, what I'm doing. I'm removing the tape from the lid, which is something that we do often with all these figures and whatnot. Okay, sorry, not the best unboxing in the world, but this box is massive. So we need to do something like this, right? And now it says LO. I don't know if you can see it, because last one. Normally the last ones are always big figures, like the Ozarus in Dragon Ball and stuff like that. Okay, he is big. It's funny how he's bigger than I was expecting, and at the same time, he's not as big as I was expecting. It's interesting. Now, let's open the sarcophagus, the plastic sarcophagus. A lot of tape. A lot of tape, and I'm not gonna say scared, but cautious of scratching plastic, because this luscious hair is black and thick, but certainly delicate. Sorry. But believe it or not, this is the safest way for opening this. So, Adult Gun. Pam, 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 pam. Oh, it's black. Well, I guess black is better than transparent, I guess. But this is, look at this freaking thing. This thing is massive. Like, it's bigger than Meruem. I mean, look at this. Like, damn. So, well, to a degree, if you don't, damn. to a degree, if you don't want to do the whole hair shebang, because I mean, to a degree, it's kind of a meme, kind of a reference to like what Dragon Ball does and whatnot. It's like, oh, the hair got bigger because he's so powerful. But at the same time, it's like if his body got, I don't know how many years was, 20 or 15 years older. Because Gon is like what 12 and he went to 25, so like 12 years or 13 years. I don't know. He's at his peak, so maybe 10 years. I don't know. I think it was 10 years. If he's at his peak, but his clothes don't grow up with him, which will be weird because kind of they should, because I mean this is not the proportions, but whatever. His hair, if you don't cut your hair for like 10 years, it will be very, very long. So I get the point. But if you don't want the whole shenanigan, well, he looks good like this. He still looks silly, but he looks good. And look at this sculpting in both senses of the word, both talking about the figure and the massive unit that is gone. And I think to a degree, that's why they give you this option of like, well, it's covered. If you don't want to go full Super Saiyan mega hair, this is an option. So I'm going to put the beast here. I'm going to remove all the pieces of, look at this. Just the so there is that. There is this. Man, this figure is going to be so tall by default because of the hair that it's certainly going to be a figure that needs to be on the floor, just because if you put it on a table, actually I will check, but it feels like the type of figure that if you put it on a table, likely it may hit depending on well, not the table, maybe not the table, but if you put it on a bookshelf or something, depending on how high is that bookshelf, likely it doesn't fit. It's going to hit the ceiling. Now the base, not the most, crazy base. Again, the cheap figure did it properly. I can't believe that this figure that is so expensive and so premium and like the last one and blah, 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 they went with this when you could have like at least some smoke, Again, I'm not asking for like a resin painted figure, blah, 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 but, instead of giving me multiple chunks of black plastic, which, yes, they are cheaper to produce than maybe a mold of smoke. Just give me the smoke. I mean, look at this. And then the braces for the head, which I'm going to try my best to not put this, but it feels like it's going to be needed. And obviously, pop-in fun. So a lot of plastic here in the sarcophagus. And the bad boy. Now, obviously, I am not going to be able to spin this figure with all the hair. And to be honest, yeah. So, it's crazy because it's not small. As you can see by my hand, it's big. It's bigger than, like, the biggest figure that we have here is either Meruem or Killua. And, yeah, I mean, it's not in proportions, of course, but it's not proportional, like real size, but yeah, I mean, you can tell that this is a massive thing. And compared to the cheap one, cheap not meaning bad, by the way, but just the more viable one, same moment, different expression slightly, but obviously the detail is what it is. It's a complete unit, a different unit of a figure, I mean, and it works like this. Sadly, it doesn't stand on his own because he has these two chunks of plastic. So, I don't have the instructions nearby. Well, instruction number 1 says that we should remove this from the back of my man, which, if that's the case, one does have to wonder why even having this in the first place. Just give him a hole, or whatever. So, you remove this from the man, and then you put the legs on this. So I'm assuming all the legs are the same. Man, this figure is such a to a degree, it's kind of an eyesore. It's like so big. Maybe eyesore is not the expression, but like it's so inconvenient. That's the word. I mean, it's inconvenient to document. Imagine. Look at this. So he goes here. Then this, in some degree or capacity, like Gon goes here. And to be honest, you know, I will be very look at that. I will be very surprised if he needs anything else to hold his weight with the hair. I'm going to do an experiment. Give me 1 second, because this base is horrid enough as is. Let me add all the hair. And actually, you know what? I'm going to remove this as well. Just to, well, if I can. Or I guess not, but see, if my theory is correct, if this should come with anything instead of a hole for his back, it should come with something to cover this, because the hair is not that heavy. Famous last words. So if that's the case, we should be able to, well, it's a simple figure to assemble. I'm just trying to do something different, and I'm trying to defy logic, because this is one of those things. This is like a very man moment, you know. It's like, oh, I don't need instructions. I can assemble these on my own. This is the same. It's like, well, I mean, yes, they recommend you. They did give it 4 legs and a back support and a head support. But what do they know? They are only the sculptors of the figure. They don't know shit. So this thing goes like this. All right, nice. It integrates. Funny enough. Now, this piece of hair is actually heavy. The others, not so much. Although this is heavy too, but obviously proportionally. I guess this one goes like this. It's one of those things that is like, well, it's going the right way, but still, it's not going to be a deal breaker. But if it doesn't fit perfectly, you can really, really tell. I guess that the better way to do this actually will be like this instead of being an idiot. So this goes like this. And this is actually the most delicate one, because this one, well, actually not, because this is flexible and these ones are not. So maybe if this fall, this will break, but I digress. So this should go like this, I expect. Exactly. So the hair being full of lines, kind of the similar. Look at this freaking thing. Wingardium Leviosa. I mean, not even that. I mean, look at this. I am so out of frame, and still, look at this. Damn. Now, if my theory is correct, Gon should be able to hold himself without any of these shenanigans. So he holds himself like this, and it works. So if I put the whole mass of hair, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to record properly, but bear with me. Surprise, surprise, he holds himself pretty well, I should say. Look at this. I'm hitting him like this. See? And it works. Now, obviously, I guess this is more of a long-term thing. Like, you want to have the 4 legs so that there is no chance of him tumbling to the sides, because, I mean, it's not impossible, but you do need to, you need to put some effort into it. And I guess, again, if you are in Japan, because of the earthquakes and whatnot, this may be a need. I don't know. And then, because the whole back brace thing, this thing is horribly massive. I mean, look at this thing. And you put this in here. Look at this. Like, you put this. Look at how you ruin a figure, man. Look at this shit. Doesn't make any sense. I understand that for back support, and if you have, again, earthquakes, because Japan, I guess. I mean, but it's not aesthetic at all. It's kind of ruining the figure. I mean, you have to hold the hair with these things. Like, what's up with that? Like, look at this. Like, what's up with this shit? Like, like, again, I appreciate the effort. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming to know more than the engineers and designers from Bandai Namco, but I mean, this is certainly a way of ruining such a great figure and investment, right? I mean, obviously, again, this is not a Prime 1 Studio first for figures, resting figure. It is what it is. But I mean, it's such a massive thing. Is the thing that makes people want to buy all the tickets and all that stuff. And it is cool. Like, the figure itself is cool. And again, look at this. It's tall as all hell. It's great. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And it kind of should have a different base. It should have a base like the chip figure that is also a pen. Also, why is this one not a pen? Right? But like, give me something like that. Give me smoke. Instead of all that shit. I don't even want to build the braces and all that stuff. Like, it's not going to look cool. And it's just going to give me trouble. Damn it. I mean, remove the hair. Again, the hair kind of goes out easily. So, at least that. And you can have him, display in a simpler version, I guess. But I'm just going to do it for the sake of the video, because entertainment and whatnot. But yeah, this figure totally holds up on its own without all this shit. And to a degree, you know that they knew, because why else include this thing to cover Gon's back? Like, it doesn't make any sensible sense. So now we put Gon in here, and this thing goes into, actually I'm doing it backwards. It should go into his back first. Again, look at this. I mean, yes, they went with black because, well, his hair is black, so it kind of does a contrast. But what a way of ruining a figure, man. It's just horrible. And again, it doesn't offend me or anything, because you can live without it, as I just proved. Like, for example, you can maybe ignore this, right? Maybe you can even ignore this. And I feel like with this, the figure is more than secure already. I mean, you have to like go really out of your way to, but somehow, again, I'm going to justify this by saying earthquakes, I guess. Somehow they went like, no, my brother, you may need another one. Here is your braces. Don't forget your braces. So, and the way this is done is actually, which is kind of difficult to illustrate, but you kind of need to close it here, like this. Again, look at how cool it looks. It's just ridiculous. And then this, and then this goes there. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, look at this. Look at this thing. Why would you do this to my boy? Look at this. It's horrible. And, if the figure was bigger and the hair was bigger, I would be like, well, I guess. But, I mean, again, my one justification, from the front, you kind of can't see it. So I guess that's the angle that you need to, because any other angle, this shit is just ridiculous. So I'm going to display it with the whole shebang now when I show you the front view, just for the sake of it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no. Like, the hair is not that heavy, thankfully, because it doesn't have any reason to be more heavy. Like, they obviously, and look at this, even with all the things, all the hair, it still kind of dances to a degree. So, to be honest, in degrees of preference, option A, just the base, none of the back support. Option B, the base with the legs, because that way you get some leeway. Option C, the base with the legs, with the back support, only the back support up to this point, or even without the legs or the ankles or whatever you want to call it. this is a good support. It's not very noticeable, but like certainly the last part is just ridiculous. Like I will live without this any day of the week. But yeah, so with that in mind, now, as I cover this and I show you the figures spinning and whatnot, I'm going to show you how the figures look from the front and all that stuff. So obviously spinning, they are a different deal. I remember we got all the folders and folios and notepads and whatnot, and that's very cool. But we're going to focus mostly on the figures and what we have here, right? Which is, I try to do like a setup, a thing, even with the small figures, just for the sake of it a little bit, and for you guys to see. And I'm gonna put the cheap gun next to the expensive gun, just for the sake of it. Remember, that one is not included in this. It's not part of the Ichiban Kuji. It's just for fun, I guess. And here you have them. The figures. Now, reminder, the smaller adult gun is there just for comparison. So you can see one next to the other. They are kind of not in the same angle because I guess he's supposed to be looking from the front, which will make the legs need to be, the base legs being across, but I digress. The only reason why you will put him, I guess this is, to me, this is the ideal pose, but if you want to put him front facing, that will hide the back support a lot better. Now, it's my expert opinion that he doesn't need the back support. And to a degree, doesn't need the legs either. But presto, you are allowed to do heavier bases. Like that freaking black thing, just add more rubber to it, add more plastic to it. It's not rocket science. You don't need to, like, all this plastic that you added here, just make it heavier. I don't like, this occupies a lot of space. Again, I assume that for a country that has earthquakes all the time, this is an optimal design. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of better, fancier ways of doing this. And, my go-to will be to do something like you did with the cheaper figure, which is add smoke or something to it, but whatever. So you have a sitting gun, which to me is the MVP of this set, is good, small, and gets to the point. Like, it's a really good moment, very important. If you have both, for some reason, this and adult gun, you have a very nice setup there. Then on the Ant side, well, you have the minifigures, which are nice, but then you have these two Ants of Hell and Meruem. They do fit together very nice. Neferpito, though, is not in the same moment or anything whatsoever. But, they fit well together. Again, this is kind of a good thing that the figures don't necessarily fit together at all, because that means that you don't need to do what I did of buying everything like a freaking psychopath. But, they're like a good display of what happens in this arc. Now, the only figures that I feel like go well together are these two and Meruem, because you could argue that it's that moment, and sitting gun, an adult gun, if you want to do something like this, because I feel like it creates a diorama, it creates the story, it creates a moment, right? But the rest is kind of whatever. One other thing that I realized while putting the figures together is that for some reason, that I think is just coincidental, but whatever, adult gun, Neferpitou, and Meruem all have the same pose, which, it is what it is. Now, on the other side of the table, we do have a less, a more dynamic side with actually cool round bases that are not a piece of plastic attached to your leg. So Netero and Killua, they both are sporting cool poses and cool moments. Again, they don't mix at all with each other or with the other figures. They just look cool. So it's cool because you can distribute them around your house if you buy them all, or if you just want one, it also works. And then, you have, to me, obviously the centerpiece and the reason why I did this is Adult Gun. Now, I'm not a fanboy of Adult Gun to the point of being like, yeah, man, because it's the most powerful. The same way that some people go like, oh, Super Saiyan 4. It's like, not that. But I do like what it means. Like, he was so pissed. He's a kid at the end of the day. He acted like a kid. He was pissed. He wanted revenge. He put his everything, he sacrificed everything, he put a restriction and a covenant, and he became that. And that's a very good moment and the culmination of a great, amazing arc, that is the Chimera Ant arc. And that's why I added the figure. However, the base and the back support and the head support are horrible. And yes, I mean, the figure is big. Again, look at this. But, and this is, like, I am far away from this hair, you know what I mean? Like, this is a big figure on the hair alone, similar to what happens with the smaller one, with the one that is actually a pen. However, it's, the sculpting details of Adult Gun are great, but it's interesting that the cheap figure, that is around $20 or $25, is actually the more creative when it comes to choices. Like, instead of having a normal base, it has a smoke because it's what happens there. And the smoke is distributed in a way that actually gives some leg support on the back, because the smoke is taller on the back behind the legs, which makes sense. And then the hair is not only a big piece of plastic, but it's also a pen. So, I'm not asking this to be a pen, because, I mean, this is so thick that, what would you do with that? But at least try to not give me that. But as we prove, you kind of don't need that, unless, I guess, you live in a country with a lot of earthquakes. So this is a long video. It was supposed to be shorter, but, I guess you're in for the podcast. My final balance on this. Was it worth it? Well, yes, because one, I wanted cool figures for Hunter x Hunter. I don't have that many. Actually, I have like 5 or 6, and it's all like prize figure size figures. So, and some, well, I guess I have some, how do you call them? The pop-up parade, which are good, but they are weird. Like, we will make a video one day talking about pop-up parades. They are cool, but at the same time, it depends on the figure. I don't know. And mind you, I love Good Smile Company and the Nendoroids and all that shit. They're very good. But still, there's something about those figures that I don't... However, I digress. I like all the figures. This is kind of the reason why I committed to the expenditure. I like all the figures. I like how they look, and I like all the extras. Things like this are pretty cool, and I like some of them are more or less rarities. And then even the things for paper and whatnot, like, are very cool, interesting things that if you're a fan of Hunter x Hunter, it's just like, it's type of thing that you see a lot on the internet that they do in Japan, and for some reason, and for some reason, they don't export to the rest of the world. And they export the figures, sure, and I mean, we love it, but a lot of those minor things like stationery, pillows, weird shit, they don't. And that's kind of the cool thing, that sometimes you just want to buy a mini present, or you want to buy something small, you don't want to buy every day something like this, but, So the figures are very cool. I like them. In order of, if I had to rank them, which, well, I mean, Adult Gun is obviously the best figure of the bunch. It is going to depend on whether well, the ranking will change on whether it has all the plastic with him or not. If you remove some of the plastic or all of the plastic, yes, it's my favorite figure of the bunch by far. It's perfectly sculpted. It's great. I love it. Then is Sitting Gun, because Sitting Gun is just great. I mean, everyone loves this freaking pose. And then it becomes muddy waters. Like, I like a lot the Netero figure. He's floating. He's doing the pose. Look at this. Like, I like it a lot. and I feel like it reflects the character a lot. And now, I'm gonna be controversial, but I think I like the Killua figure better than I like Neferpito or Meruem. And the reason for that is that, I mean, they are a cool figure. I love them all, don't get me wrong, but they're kind of too static. Like the poses are kind of okay, like normal. Actually, the same pose, literally. And Killua is like a very flow pose, very cool looking. So I like it. Also the base, like I like round bases, and with all the electricity and all that stuff, that's cool. Then it will be between Meruem and Neferpito, but these smaller ones are also there, right? So these two little devils are pretty cool. Even the smaller ones that are kind of like whatever are pretty cool. Like I want to, again, it's not like they're bad figures, but Meruem and Neferpito kind of look underwhelming because of the pose and the colors, right? Like they don't have like, they're not floating. They don't have lightning around them. They don't have those abs. Like, well, he kind of has, but like, they look cool. They just not look as cool. I think that will be my rating. But yeah, overall, cool. Will I do it again? It depends. I will do it again. Maybe for another saga. There are some other Ichiban Kujis coming out. Like there's the Dragon Ball 4th anniversary. There are two of them. Or like Berserk. Sagas that are not, because I love Dragon Ball, but it's kind of easy to find Dragon Ball figures. Now, everything's like this, not so much. So if it's a saga or an IP that like JoJo, for example, it's not easy to get stuff here in the West. And, the figures are cool, but most importantly, the extras are cool. Then yes, I may buy the whole thing. If the extras are just whatever, because a lot of times the extras are just like stickers or things to hang from your door and whatever, it's like, no. And an example of this is stuff that normally comes with the Dragon Ball ones. This is one that I kind of, liquidated to a degree. It's like, sometimes a lot of them come with like plastic things, like acrylic stands, and like that's cool, but whatever. And sometimes they just come with like the most random shit, like things like this. And it's just like, oh, that's something that you hang on your door and it has a message. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, no one's going to use that shit, but whatever. So that sort of balance to me is important because, yes, you're paying the big bucks for these things, but you're getting a lot of garbage, so might as well like the garbage as well, right? So I guess that's a summary. So thank you very much for watching, which is watching and listening. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And for the patience and such a long video. I just wanted to like showcase the thing, and I'm very excited. It's not every day that you buy a whole box of things and display the little things, and and if you have any doubts or you're curious, just ask. I will be excited to show more stuff in detail or whatever. Answer some questions. I don't know. I just wanted to share a little bit of this, and if you are a fellow Hunter fan, welcome to me, because I am the newest, I guess, because I just started this year, but really love Hunter. So, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those cool things that the cool kids do. And I will see you next time on Packs and Recreation. Bye.